What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Salud Cabrones podcast. I am Danny Villegas.
And I am Javier Ledesma.
And before we get started, we ask that you like, comment, subscribe, and share the Salud Cabrones podcast on Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Spotify, and now motherfucking YouTube.
Motherfucker, estamos en los YouTubes.
On those YouTubes. Bro, we finally fucking made it on YouTube after a year.
Hey, man, aren't you forgetting something? Like, isn't this the part of the show where you thank our sponsors and introduce the guests?
Let me get there first, motherfucker. You interrupted me and
I was
shit,
like,
man.
this episode 50, man. By now you're supposed to have it, bro.
Man. And follow us on all social media platforms at Salud Cabrones podcast. And yes, we want to give this first special thanks and a shout out to our sponsors, the Law Office of Christopher Huff, and to Taco Ville in Villa Park, Illinois. Shout out to our boy Bear Mysterio. And yes, this is now episode 50. We are now on fucking YouTube, along with Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Amazon Music. Ladies and gentlemen, we've been at this for a whole year. And
wow, you
guys have been great, following with us the whole time, giving us great feedback, giving us constructive criticism, and we take it all and we appreciate it all. And man, thank you guys for staying here with us. And
most of that constructive look at that. I can't even say that.
Constructive criticism.
Constructive criticism. Most of the time when we get that, I usually just want to go fuck off. But, yeah, it's still given.
I was trying to be nice. I was trying to be nice.
Nah, man, fuck that shit, man. It's our show. I ain't been nice to no one.
All right, fuck y'all, man.
Fuck y'all.
Fuck y'all.
Today there is no guest, Danny.
I know, because we had said, this was your idea. You said episode 50. What did you want to do?
I wanted episode 50 to be kind of us going back to the very first time that we hit record on and basically let out what we called our origin video, origin story, origin podcast episode. There was an episode that we released. You can't find it anymore on Instagram. I'm sorry, on Spotify. You can't find that thing on there. We got rid of it because it was horrible.
Fucking horrible, bro. Like, we didn't know what the fuck we were doing, man. Like, you seriously, like, we were just like, yeah, this is our podcast. And like, and the crazy part is, dude, like, me and you are used to talking on a microphone or cutting promos, and for some reason we just couldn't fucking get it.
Yeah, we just kind of, we didn't necessarily freeze, but we just couldn't put a thought together and really make it work. But now, after 50 episodes, I think after 49, this being the 50th, I think by now we kind of got the hang of things. We're not great at it, but we're definitely not those rookies we were a year ago doing this. No. And I kind of wanted to basically go back and redo that the right way this time. So my idea was no guests, just us shooting the shit, giving people a nice little backstory as to who we are, how we got started, and the birth of the podcast itself, and where we see this going forward. So that's kind of one of my expectations of today's episode. It might not necessarily be the most entertaining to some, but I definitely wanted to put that out there for anybody that was even remotely curious as to how we got started.
And
so
I don't know about you, but I've actually had a lot of people that ask me about the podcast, talk to me and say, hey, so how did it start or whatever? I tell them we're wrestlers, and you're wrestlers? Oh, we didn't know, or they hear about, we didn't know you guys are wrestlers. Now we're starting to learn more about wrestling because you guys, I didn't know you guys. So it's like people don't really know too much about our backstory because we always bring in guests and we talk about them. So yeah, I think it's pretty cool to let people in a little bit more behind the scenes with us. As everyone knows, me and Javier are professional wrestlers, and this podcast started over a conversation. Me, Javier would always ride to the shows together, and one day we were just bullshitting, just shooting the shit on the way to the show, and we was like, man, we should start a fucking podcast and just talk to other wrestlers, actors, and just athletes, entertainers, just all walks of life, and just talk to them, get their story, man. Everyone's got a fucking story out there, and we want everyone to hear it. And so, and then Javier's like, man, let's do it, talk about it. One day, Javier, he worked an event over the weekend, made some pretty good money. He's like, dude, I made some pretty good money. Let's just go fucking buy this equipment and fucking do it.
Yeah, I didn't want us to talk about a podcast much like everyone does, that drunken friend conversation at a party where somebody starts saying, oh, we should run a business, we should open up a bar, we should open up this, we should do that. I got friends that have like 1,000 different like businesses in mind that they've always thought about opening and they've never done it. or different things to do. Hey, I want to, like, I know people that always said, oh, I wish I would have been a professional wrestler. We just did a show. A pal ran a birthday party out in North Riverside, and the guy who booked us, he's been a lifelong wrestling fan, and we made his day. He was able to get in the ring and do a little bit of something with us, and afterwards he just approached me and he goes, man, I asked him, I'm like, how excited were you? Were you ready for this? He goes, bro, I've been waiting for this my whole life. And he's like, I wish I would have done this when I was younger. He's like, now I'm old, this and that. So those are those like regrets that come along. I didn't want this to kind of like be one of those things where we talked about doing it and never did it. So I said, fuck it. You might as well doing it. And there's that saying, what is it? Shit or get off the pot.
Yeah.
So I pretty much said, let's get the fuck off the pot, man.
Yeah, bro. And even though
shit.
even though, like, let's just say, this podcast, let's just say the podcast goes nowhere, man. At least the fact that we did it, the fun that we had doing it, the great guests that we've had, this along the way, bro. We've had a lot of great guests. We've met a lot of great people, man.
The stories that have been told on this show, especially not necessarily from just like fun, entertaining stories, but like the deep opening. You touch on this all the time when we have guests that are talking about like their troubles in life with mental health and things of that nature. That's always been one of your things where you love like having someone open up like that. It's weird because that sometimes could be an uncomfortable subject to touch. Being dudes, we're always like, I don't want to talk about that. But it's interesting to me that's become kind of like our calling cards.
Yeah,
like people are willing to open up and talk to us about that.
We nicknamed ourselves Ghetto Therapy.
Yeah. One of our friends, Vanessa, who has worked hard to create our logos, and she's done a lot of stuff for the podcast. She once texted me and she said, he's like, what the fuck are you putting in these guys' drinks, man? It's like, are you putting like truth serum in there? It's like, what are you guys doing over there? It's like these grown-ass men over there crying on your show.
Well, first shout out to Vanessa, man, for the logos, man. The first, when we first started, we had one logo, and we recently just upgraded to a newer logo, man, and a lot better looking logo, and Vanessa snapped on both of them. So shout out to Vanessa. You did awesome on those logos.
Definitely. Lilo knocked that shit out.
Yes, she did. But no, like, you're right, man. And I think that's real cool. I think it was cool that these men feel comfortable enough to come and open up with us. And I don't know if that kind of shows like just the kind of vibe that we bring to people, like we just want to, I mean, you explain it. You explained the best, man. What did you want the whole premise of the podcast to be?
Yeah, I wanted us to feel like we were at a bar, and not for the drinking aspect of it.
And before Javier gets to that, it's funny because yes, the podcast is called Salud Cabrones, but and people always ask, the people are like, oh man, I really don't drink, but I want to come on. You don't have to drink to come on the podcast. Well, we'll get to that origin story of it in a minute, but yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so I wanted the idea of reminiscing at a bar when you catch up with that old acquaintance of yours. Everyone can relate to the idea of going up somewhere and running into an old friend that they haven't seen in years.
Right.
And let's say you're pretty much at a bar or something, and you see this person, and all you're doing is like, oh my God, how's it going? Blah, blah, blah. Next thing you know, you're talking about life. You're talking about whether you have kids, some crazy shit you've gotten into, vacations, whatever. And at the end of the day, you feel so fulfilled that you've ran into this old acquaintance of yours, and you bond, you reconnect. So I wanted the show to feel organic and feel like we were at a bar reconnecting with an old friend. And obviously sometimes we don't know the people that come to the show. This is the first time that we're having these conversations with them. But I wanted that vibe to go through to the audience so that they can feel like if they're basically hanging out next to us, having this, whether it be amazing conversation or very down to earth, like, heart to heart type stuff. That's kind of what the premise of the show, to me, that's what I envisioned the show to be.
And that's what I feel like we've done, man. People that have gave me feedback on it, like, yeah, I feel like you guys are just hanging out at a bar and just bullshitting.
Yeah.
And like I had said before, when we say Salud Cabrones, that origin story came from, it's actually from our wrestling. Me and Javier, when we cut promos in wrestling, that's how we would always end off our promo. We would always have a glass of tequila with us, or some kind of liquor or beer, and we would always finish off our promo by saying "Salud Cabrones" under our wrestling characters. So
for those non-wrestling aficionados, a promo is basically just spoken commercial, so to speak. You are trying to promote something, get the people into the building, and you're doing it with your words, and that's the ending of our promo, our farewell, so to speak.
Yes, we would always take a shot and say "Salud Cabrones." That was our sign off. So when we were coming up with the podcast, Javier's like, "Oh, what should we name it?" And when Javier gave me the premise of it, I'm like, well, then what better way than Salud Cabrones? We were at a bar, you want that bar feeling like we're hanging out, talking, Salud Cabrones, and it takes us back to our wrestling, our characters. So it kind of goes hand in hand. So that's where it all came about. So for those that haven't been on, that want to come on, no, you do not have to drink to come on the podcast. If you want to, cool. If you don't, cool.
We've had guests that are like sober for many years that are dealing with they're recovering alcoholics or whatever it may be, and we respect that.
And we didn't drink that episode.
Anything down their throats, and it's great. I love that because this is a different outlook that now is being presented to us when they come in and they talk about that stuff, dealing with sobriety. We had a couple of guys come in and they talked about not drinking.
We had Moondog.
Moondoggy. He talked about his struggles with alcohol and his just having personal issues, not dealing well with relationships because of alcohol. Now he's done with it. His wrestling career is flourishing because he doesn't have that vice anymore.
Right.
So that's great. I mean, that's fantastic. Pro wrestling is helping him deal with his demons, so to speak.
And that's what we do. We show our respect to guys that are sober, that have that are recovering alcoholics, sober. Me and Javier don't drink around them. It'll be just a sober episode, and we are more than okay with that.
The moment they leave, we fucking take shots, though.
Fucking break out that tequila, bro. Fuck,
I needed it. No, we don't think we're dicks like that. But no, that's kind of just we want.
Fucking lying ass mother.
Do you remember the first episode we had? It was our boy GQ. Shooting baby. That line has stuck through all the way to now, episode 50, a year later.
Yeah.
But it was kind of interesting when we did that first episode. He brought in such an energy to that episode, and it was wild, man. Obviously, anybody that heard that episode, a lot of people may not necessarily get all the references that he talked about if they're not in the know, but he came in, and the shooting baby is basically him, talking from the hip.
Yeah,
shooting from the hip. Shit, talking shit about certain people, and it was crazy because in the industry, people were like, oh my God, you guys are going to be that show where everyone goes on there and shit talks everyone. And then episode number 2, we had our boy Tommy come out, and Tom Heisman, and he was, very mellow. And we know Tom for a long time, and he's a good, fun-loving guy. But he talked about dealing with the passing of his mother, his upbringing and whatnot. So it was a different kind of vibe.
Yeah.
And I remember this is episode number 2, and we had literally the polar opposites on both episodes. And me and you thought, man, we want our show to be all this like happy-go-lucky type deal. We envisioned the show to be more like an episode number 1 all the time, but it can't always be that way.
No.
And it's kind of interesting. We both thought, oh, episode number 1's the best one. And we had such a great reaction from episode number 2, the Tom Heisman episode, where people were like reaching out to us going like, oh, that was really cool. Like there was vets in the business that reached out to us and they're like, we didn't know that about Tom.
Yeah.
That it opened up their eyes to him. And that's when we came to the realization, it's like not every episode has to be, high energy.
Right.
For it to be a good episode. There are a ton of episodes on our entire 50 now episodes on our list there where they're all different. Every single one of them, I love them for different reasons. Sometimes people bring a certain energy because they know they're going to be behind the microphone.
Right.
And others sometimes are a little bit more reserved what they bring out. I mean, we have our boy Quaylar, who definitely did not hold back
at all.
At all. And, I mean, it cost that boy a relationship.
But according to him, he's happy now in a new relationship.
He's happy, and he's got a whole new short white girl that, he's all about.
All right, good for you, Cuervo. There you go, man. Bounce back, baby. Bounce back.
But yeah, that's the vibe that we've given out to all these shows.
But you said, I think when we first started it, that's what we thought. We're like, you know what, we want it to be high energy. Let's have fun, blah blah blah. Because that's what Q brought to that first episode. Like, oh man, that's what we're gonna do. So then after Tom's episode, like, the energy was low or whatever. But like you said, once we got all that feedback about it, we're like, you know what? No, I think we got something here. It doesn't always have to be high energy. Let people bring what they want to bring. And if it's an upward, if it's downward, whatever. And, we're here to listen to everybody and give and because like I said, everyone has a story, man. And for people like with us, with wrestling, the wrestling business, we don't know no one outside of outside of the wrestling. We don't really know too much about everybody. Because when we're in the locker room, we have maybe like just spurts here and there talking to them, and we gotta get ready for our match.
Yeah.
After the match, we come back. I just fucking want to hurry up and leave so I get the fuck out of there.
Yeah.
And then so when you actually sit and have an hour and a half long conversation, whatever it is, with someone, and actually get to know them, oh shit, I've known you this long, but I never actually knew this about you. It kind of opens your eyes.
I'm laughing at the idea that you did not know certain things about certain people. Because when I told you, hey, we should bring in Jerry, the referee. Jerry.
God, bro. I was like, oh, okay. Yeah,
you're like,
he seems like a fun-loving guy.
Yeah, he brings pies to the show.
Yeah, he's like, motherfucker's talking about fucking dildos and orgies and sex parties and fucking.
That just goes to show.
I was like, what the fuck, Jerry?
We don't necessarily know everyone outside the business in terms of what their personal life is like, I mean, we had some wild conversations with him, and that were definitely, I knew bits and pieces of it because he had let me in, and I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
that's the reason
no
I
idea. I was like, oh, you guys want to go to one of my parties? I mean, nope, I'm good, man. Thank you, though. Thanks for the invite, but no, I'm good. I'm good, bro.
But on the same note, then we had like conversations with, like, for example, like Scott Spade, who's a very respected, wrestler, pro wrestler forever. He's a veteran in the business, and he comes on and he talks about like having anxiety attacks.
Yeah.
And these are things that we don't know because we don't see them.
Because you look at Scott and you think of
he's always in control.
Yeah.
He's always in control, He's a guy that we respect because he's always like the guy's calm, cool, and collected to the ring. Doesn't ever show his nerves or anything. Yet he suffers from something that, luckily, I don't think I've ever really truly ever had an anxiety attack, and hopefully I never will like that. But it's insane to me that he deals with this kind of stuff, and he's going out there and he's that in control when he's going out to the ring. It's nuts. I mean, we had like people like, Vic Capri come out there and tell us about dealing with, drug abuse and stuff like that. And he's a guy that we respect immensely in this business.
Drug abuse, same thing, men's mental health, all that stuff, And this is things that people don't know, like we know these guys for so long, but we don't really actually know them. We don't actually know like their actual stories, outside of the ring and what they deal with. So when we hear it, we're like, holy fuck, man. And you have we already respect these people. We have so much more respect for them after that. Yeah. And the fact that they let their guard down to come on the show and they talk about it.
Yeah. We've had people that, we've had people reach out to us. Donnie, he said, hey man, I would really love to be a guest on the show. And he reached out to us way early in the beginning. And he said, I got a lot of stuff to let off my chest. And I was a little weary of that because I thought he was going to come on the show and just shit talk everyone. Little did I know it was just going to be like pretty much only one person. But anyhow, but yeah, this is a guy who's been a friend of ours forever. I think we know him relatively well, but I was a little wary about. But he's a guy that I knew that when he was going to come out, if he said he wanted to get something off his chest, he was definitely going to do it.
And he did.
Yeah, and this is the avenue in which he wanted to do it in.
Yeah,
as public as it may be, this is how the ghetto therapy works on the show, man. And by the way, we mentioned his name earlier, and we always talk about the T-shirts that every episode comes up with, like the random saying of the episode. That was a Quaylar line.
Ghetto therapy.
Yeah, ghetto therapy
Yeah.
goes back to Matt Quaylar's
Because we
episode.
were talking about doing therapy in the back of an alley in a
Yep.
van, ghetto therapy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's another one like shooting, baby, that is stuck all the way through. Some
Right.
of them we forget about, but ghetto therapy is stuck, man.
Mm-hmm. And what the fuck, Jerry?
I don't think that what the fuck Jerry's ever gonna go away, man.
But no, bro, like from all the guests that we've had, bro, I mean, I would never have thought, bro, that we would get like the likes of a Lindsay Dorado on the
Yeah.
podcast.
When we
Fucking-
got that episode, I felt like we were changing. Like I'm not. This is not to discredit anybody that we had prior to that, but you look around at a lot of the podcasts that are out on the market, and I'm a very competitive human being, so I always want to win, right? When we first started this podcast, I was very competitive. I didn't see things the way I'd see them now. Now, I don't necessarily, I'm not out there competing with anyone. I know that the product that we put out there, hopefully people will love it, and that's really the only thing I can hope for, you know? And so it's not like I'm trying to be better than anyone else at what we do. But at that time, my mentality was different. I was like, man, we got to be better than so-and-so. We got to be better than this person, blah, blah, blah. And when we got that episode, I didn't realize what it meant in the beginning because I thought, yeah, this is
You were
our
thinking
mark.
competition-wise.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is our mark to be better. And then after that episode, I remember thinking, I'm like, yeah, this is going to be amazing. This is going to set us apart from everyone. And at the end of it, I didn't necessarily feel that way. I felt more grateful that this person that we've seen on TV, he's entertained us, for years. Took his time to come out and chat with us and, let us in.
That was like, what, 11 o'clock at night, too,
yeah,
bro?
Yeah, that one was nuts. Wrestle Rage.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yep.
And we took him out there, hung out with him, and then I was like, hey, man, are we ever going to get to the podcast?
I'm like, he's not going to do it. It's
He's
fucking late.
It's late.
And it's like 10:30. Hey, man, you guys ready to do the podcast? I'm like, all right, you still want to do it? All right.
We're out to like 2 a.m. or something talking to this
Yeah,
guy.
yeah.
And it was insane. It's awesome. Huge thanks to him. But at the end of it, I ended up being very grateful and I understood the podcast for what it was at that time. Mm-hmm. It was to me, I don't know how you see that episode, but to me, it was a very eye-opening experience of what we had here and what the show was going to do. It was very satisfying to me.
Mm-hmm. Especially like how open he was. Like we just like really
Yeah.
just sat back and just shot the shit. Like, like we knew this dude forever,
Yeah.
And that was a good feeling, and like you said, it was satisfying. And after that, like you said, I didn't look at it. I never looked at it at a competitive point, but I was like, man, I feel we got something good here. Where else can we take this? Where else can we go?
Yeah.
Because I feel we can take this to much higher levels,
Yeah.
And then, lo and behold, we get fucking JJ Soria on, which
Going a little bit back to before we talk about JJ, I think the end result of the Lindsay episode almost took the fear out of
Yes.
what it was as far as asking and trying to get a hold of people. Because I don't think, had we not gotten the Lindsay Dorado, I don't think we would have been as ambitious to get certain names that followed, like a JJ Soria.
like because going back to what you said about Lindsay, when I remember we were talking, I think it was before or after we turned the mics off and we're talking, and we had mentioned that like what you said, and he's like, yeah, I was kind of hesitant on reaching out because I didn't know. He's like, why, man? He's like, reach out to whoever. He said, what's the worst they're gonna say? No.
Yeah.
What's the worst they're gonna tell you? He goes, and what? They just look at me. You asked me, because I'm here.
Yep.
He's like, so what's the worst I'm gonna tell you? No. He said, bro, reach out. You reach out. You ask. The worst they're gonna say is no, or they're not gonna respond.
Exactly.
And after that, I think we were just like, fuck it. So let's reach out to everyone and their mama,
I've reached to people's moms. I reached out. I'm like, hola señora, ¿cómo está? Si su hijo no quiere hablar, mejor se viene usted y con usted le hablamos y le damos unas cheves y a ver qué pasa.
Ay, joven.
Nadie me ha hablado hace 100 años. Sucias.
Gotta watch out for those señoras, bro.
Them ratchet ones. You know what's up. That goes back to so many episodes, man.
Oh my god, dude. And like I said, man, that goes, like we've built I feel like we built like a great community with this podcast, man. Like even if it goes nowhere, man, I feel we've had so much fun. We've had a lot of great memories, had a lot of great guests, a lot of great people that we talked to, a lot of great stories, man. This is something that we can take with us forever, you know, and I'm so grateful for it. But yeah, you know, even like, you know, just the guests that we've had, bro. Like I said, like a JJ Soria. Like when the hell did we ever think we'd get him? You know,
that was so spurred of the moment. Too.
Out of that, yeah. He had posted something on Instagram that he was in Wisconsin.
By the way, we had a free weekend that day. Weekend.
Surprisingly.
Yeah, we weren't doing anything. Mm-hmm. There was no wrestling show. There was no booking. There was no
family events or nothing.
Family events, nothing. And I think we had a cancellation for the show. I think we had someone.
You might have been right.
I think we had someone scheduled for the show, but like a day or 2 days beforehand, they canceled or something.
Mm-hmm.
And that episode just, I mean, you're the one that put that one together, and the fact that it came together the way it did, and you called me like, hey, what are you doing? Let's go over here. We got to travel for this one, but we got this guy. I'm like, are you fucking shitting me? Like, all right, here we are traveling to fucking Wisconsin.
It was the Madison or something, no? I was like that.
Kenosha.
Kenosha,
yeah.
A little over an hour.
Yeah.
And I remember, like, wait, is this really going to happen? It's really going to happen. It's really going to happen. And then all of a sudden, like, remember we got that office space. We rented it out. And then, and he pulled up, and because I remember he sent me a message, hey, pulling up. And I'm like, he said he's pulling up. All of a sudden, he pulls up, gets out of the car. I'm like, oh shit, he showed up. I'm like, fuck.
Yeah.
I was like, holy fuck.
It's always pretty surreal. Like we know our friends are coming, right? You know, like for example, like some of the guys, some of the boys that are coming in. When we have somebody that has such a huge following, like, you know, we've had, you know, a lot of the guys from Power that were on your show, the show that you're booked on, and
shouts out to all those guys, man. Yeah.
Well, we've had certain people walk into our houses, and then we go, oh, shit, this person's sitting right here.
Juliana Pena.
Yeah, but we can't, at that point in time, the fanboy's out the window. Mm-hmm. We got a job to do, you know, and I know a lot of people sometimes will think, oh, my God, you guys met these amazing people. And, yeah, we did, and we got a chance to shoot the shit with them. But in a sense, this might be a hobby of ours, but I just recently told somebody this, that this is a hobby that has truly turned into a passion project.
Yeah,
and the fanboys out the window when they come in, it's work. It's go time.
Yeah,
and we want to make sure that we bring out the not only the absolute best in us, but hopefully we pull a really good episode out of the person, so that the fans at home get a chance to listen and really enjoy and see a whole different light of this person. Because chances are, if they follow that actor, actress, or wrestler or whatnot, and if they've done other podcasts, they've already heard them talk.
Right.
So what's going to make our episode any different? You know? So what we bring out of them is what's going to make it different.
And one thing that me and you do is that, you know, these people that come on, me and you will always go and listen to previous podcasts they've done and hear what they talk about, so that way we don't repeat the same questions, you know. I think we've done a pretty decent job of staying away from that. But yeah, man, like just that, like, you know, like you said, the fact that Juliana Pena was here in my house and we did the podcast. You know, because we were trying to make that happen for a while. And I'm like, oh, man, this ain't going to happen, you know, because she kept canceling, you know, and then all of a sudden she came. I was like, holy fuck, she's here, bro. I was like, what the fuck? You know, and then...
You're wearing scrubs, by the way.
I was all fucking in joggers and shit. I don't care, bro. That's how I dress. Tell your wife to stop hating on what I was wearing that day.
Teresa was like hating on you. She's like, he could have dressed up to meet her. I mean, she walked in here looking like $1,000,001. Dude.
Yeah. Yep.
And Danny's over there looking like 25 cents.
If that, bro. Got a couple pennies. Shit.
He was wearing thrift store joggers and shit.
I think I literally just rolled out of bed. Dude. Just came downstairs, bro.
Like, Añas all guys.
Pinche babas all right here and shit.
But, you know, it's kind of funny. That episode... as we were talking about, you know, anything with her, I know you wanted to talk a lot of MMA stuff with her, and we did, but it was my favorite thing from that episode was when I asked her about the Metallica shirts, and rather than just to talk about the band,
we started talking about music.
She starts going into Fuel.
Yeah,
she's like, "Give me Fuel, give me fire, give me that desire." Ooh, yeah! To hear that reaction from her, it was real.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
That was a real person talking to us. It wasn't someone that has certain things rehearsed. I always felt that sometimes some of these celebrities that come on, they've heard every possible question,
Right.
and they already have the answers ready to go by the time they get asked that, and they go, okay, cool, boom, choose answer, boom, A, B, or C. This is what I'm saying in this episode. Well, there's certain things we've asked that I think has caught people off guard, and we're like, oh shit, I gotta think.
You know what's funny is that right now they're talking about that, bringing these guests in. I remember when we brought in Victor Rivers, Magic from Blood In Blood Out. Man, it's funny because, dude, you never pop for no one, and you never give no fucking reaction whatsoever, dude. Any person, hey, how you doing? Cool.
You always hate the fact that you're like, dude, I've been bringing you all these people, and you always like look at them, they're just like some average guy.
No, because like you show like
I'm a pro, bro. I'm a pro. I'm not gonna pop.
Victor Rivers walked down the stairs. This is the first fucking time I ever seen Javier fucking pop like a little kid. He was sitting in the chair, and then Victor Rivers comes down my fucking basement, and he just, hey, what's up? How you doing? And Javier turns around. He literally jumps out the fucking chair. Oh my god! Hey! Oh shit! Oh, it's you! And then Javier's not a fucking hugger. He doesn't hug nobody. He hates hugs. And he's like, Victor Rivers shakes his head. How you doing, Victor Rivers? He's like, oh no, man, come here, give me a hug. I was like, I'm looking like, what the fuck?
I give one of those bro hugs too. Like, what's up, bro? You good? You good? You good?
And he's so tall, dude. You came up like his belly button, and you're like fucking holding him and shit.
I was like just sniffing him. You good, bro? You good? All right, give me some love,
dude.
Dude, you know the strange thing about that is, I don't know if you've ever felt this like with anybody that we've brought in, but I think anyone listening to this at home and anybody that actually saw that episode, because that was our first and only live episode.
Yeah.
We did it on social media. He deserved that kind of an episode. It's fucking Victor Rivers, like any Latino youth, and obviously there's a lot of people that watch that movie that aren't Latinos, but it's predominantly the Latinos that love that movie.
Right.
Anybody from the Latino youth can basically name members of that movie, and they know lyric for lyric, like whatever. They know scenes word for word.
Yeah.
And all of us were brought up with that movie. Like we all saw it at one point in time in our lives, and it's strange to see him in your house, like in front of us, and it felt like, oddly enough, it felt like I was like seeing an uncle, seeing like an old friend.
Yeah.
I felt like I already knew him.
Right.
And obviously I've never met this human being in my life, and I was like, holy shit, there he is. It's like, I felt like I already knew him. Yeah. Like I know so much about him, especially leading up to that episode. I did my research, and I was like, I just felt like I knew him. Like I'd already been around him for years,
Right.
So it was strange, man. It was strange, but I was like, ah!
You're like that fucking Jonah Hill gif?
Yeah. I was like, no, Victor Rivers, baby.
That was the first time I gave you that side. Like, what the fuck?
You talked about that like right after he left. Like, what the fuck was that, bro? I thought you always keep your composure. Nah, not today, man.
Not today, dog. Not today. Oh man.
Not around here, partner. Not around here.
Oh, but no, man. We've been blessed with the guests, man. Even like all the Power, the cast from Power. We had mostly all of them on, man. Shout out to those guys, man.
We're still missing Fitty. Yo, Fitty, get on the show, bro.
Still missing Fitty and Joseph, bro.
And Joseph, we still get on the show, bro. Everybody else is doing it. All the cool kids did it.
But no, man. Like shouts out to them, man. They were so cool. They came out and did it. Showed the love that they did. And they fucking they put it over with everyone.
Yeah. What was it like for you to approach your you obviously worked with these guys when you were working on the show. You were a character on the show Power called Izzy, for anybody that doesn't watch the show, which you should.
You should.
And you got a chance to work with some of these guys. What was it like when you were approaching them? Because one of the things that I remember you had talked about all the time, you're like, oh man, it always felt like a family. So having said that, to me, I always felt like it made you feel comfortable approaching them about this. Because honestly speaking, I don't know if I would have approached a lot of those guys. Like I would have been like, oh shit, they're different level type shit. And I think that I would have felt weird approaching them and getting a bad rep on the show of being the guy trying to do something else,
Yeah.
But more power to you. You were able to like land it and make it happen, and some of those guys we befriended. You know, we were
Right.
hanging out with one of them, Manny. We were hanging out with Manny.
Shout out Manny. Miguel got to see
Smoking cigars on his last day here in Chicago.
Yeah, shout out Manny.
I don't think my lungs have recuperated from that night. I don't think I've inhaled.
Yeah, you weren't even smoking.
I wasn't smoking, and I was so upset that I couldn't even have a cocktail. I was just sitting there going like, "This is bullshit. I'm drinking water."
Inhaling all the cigar smoke.
Inhaling all the cigar smoke. Dude, I felt like I was like early 20s going to a bar when all the smoking was still legal and shit, and waking up the next day fucking reeking and shit. Your hair, my beard smelled horrible the next day. I was all like, what the fuck? But no, it was amazing hanging out with him, you know, like he shared a lot of fun stuff with us. And that's ultimately, I think, if tomorrow the podcast were to end, I would be appreciative of the friendships that we've developed from here. I mean, we met an Arnold impersonator from California, who I was ecstatic about on social media. I was following him for a while. I was thoroughly entertained by like all his posts. And after that conversation was over, I felt like I was talking to a family member.
Yeah.
You know, it was amazing. He's freaking awesome.
What do you look at? We had fucking with the Concrete and Jerry Garcia. Dude, that was fucking dude.
Hey man, I want ceviche.
Dude, that was fucking funny, dude. Like, because I've been following both of them on social media, and then when they were in town, I'm like, I'm just gonna try it, fuck it, you know. And they did, you know, lo and behold, they did it, man. You know, they came here and they were fucking cool as hell. And that night, me, my wife, and my brothers and their wives, we went to go see them at the Improv, or not the Improv, the Zanies in Rosemont, and they were so cool. They brought us all backstage, and we were hanging out with them before and after the show. And yeah, man, they were just so cool, and just the people that we've met and the relationships that we built, man. I mean, bro, we had fucking we had Mr. Turner from Boy Meets World on here.
I forgot about that. It was awesome.
Yeah,
that was probably the most reserved episode we've ever put on.
Right.
Like, I felt like we were on our best behavior in that episode. Like, I don't think a single F-bomb. I don't know. I got to go back.
No, not one F-bomb was dropped. Not one swear was fucking dropped.
I think the moment that episode finished, I was like, fuck, fuck, shit. Just to get it out of my system.
Yeah, but just, you know, and then just hearing, like, people, like I said, people were, you know, like, you know, look at Enrique Guzman. When he came in, man, God. The stories that he shared, bro. You know.
Enrique's episode, to me, I always felt like it was our standard in the very beginning.
Yeah.
That episode defined us because we had people from the wrestling world. Nick Hetford approached me and he told me, he goes, I heard that episode. And for those of you guys that don't know Nick is a veteran of the pro wrestling world. He's a backstage hand, but he's done it all. He's been a manager. He's been a referee. I mean, he's done everything possible in the wrestling business. He's had a long career. And, you know, he hosts his own podcast, Hillbilly Wreckers podcast. And he approached me and he says, he's like, I don't know this guy, but he intrigued me so much. All I want to do is hear more of his stories.
Yeah.
And when he said that to me, I was like, holy crap, that's kind of awesome, because like I said, it kind of set a standard of what our show was at that time. And I'm not saying that there's better episodes since then, but there are other really, really great episodes that define us going forward. But at that time, I felt like that episode was, if we were to show somebody what we were about, that's the episode to do it with.
Yeah, because it was a lot of, dude, it was a lot of fun and, you know, a lot of laughing and joking around, but there was also a lot of serious moments that he opened up a lot with same thing, men's mental health. Yeah. You know, being in the military, being a cop, and things he saw, you know, and just, you know, stuff like that, and just, you know, to where he's at now, and his job bringing families together from what would you call it, immigrants bringing families together, you know, And dude, it's such a touching story, man. Such a touching episode.
I had people that reached out to me and they're like, "You guys need to put a warning label in front of your episodes," because they listened to the episode and it triggered them.
Yeah,
but they couldn't put it down.
Right.
You know, they were like, "I need to hear more of it." That was an interesting episode. I don't know if you remember this, but you sent me a link right around that time. We got name dropped on other podcasts because of that episode. Yeah. You remember that? Mm-hmm. And that there's been milestones along the way that we've that I feel like, I don't know, it's weird. Like we had a conversation with Moondog about the different steps in your wrestling career.
Yeah.
Like how it's not always an up, it's always a step and then a couple steps forward and then up and then another forward and then up, you know? And I felt like that was definitely a benchmark episode, because then after that we coasted, but we used that to generate buzz enough to get other people involved on the show.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So huge thanks to Enrique.
I mean, like we said, man, everyone that we've had on so far before this 50th episode have all been great in their own ways. Just, you know, awesome people, awesome stories. We're grateful for all 49 of them, and we have a lot of great guests lined up in coming up, you know, especially in this new video format, and we hope you guys stick along with us, because these are some great people, man. Great people, great stories. Like I said, everyone has a story, and the fact that these people are willing to come on our podcast and tell their story and not really hold back too much, that we more than appreciate that. And that's awesome, man. Like I love what we got going on. Like I said, even if it goes nowhere, I'm just glad of what we put together, the relationships we built, the people we've met, the conversations we've had, and the friendships that we've made, man. It's great.
So from the very beginning, we always kind of knew that cameras were eventually going to be part of the episodes, the shows. And there was episodes that we had that I remember right after you were like, "Fuck, I wish we already had freaking video. Yeah. Fuck, oh, this and that." Not only from you, but I heard it from like some of my friends that are, you know, regular listeners of the show. They would be like, "Oh, hey man, so you know, you talked about X, Y, and Z on the show. I really wish I could have seen it." Mm-hmm. And like from things about, like, for example, Vic talking about his tattoos, that people wanted to see it. And I laughed because had we had cameras, we would have seen a certain tramp stamp a long time ago.
Oh, dude, man is gonna come back from Arizona just to whoop your ass, bro.
He's in Yuma. He ain't doing shit. Right, man, you ain't doing shit. The cameras would have caught that gold a long time ago.
He's gonna show up at your front door tomorrow, bro.
In his doom buggy, that power game.
Yeah. That first class seat, bro. He's gonna come and whoop your ass on that shit, and I can't wait.
It's all right, dude. I'll just bring out a basketball and break his ankles. Bro. He can't shoot. He can't shoot. Oh, what's going on, Jordan? But the cameras would have been so helpful for some episodes, and I am so excited to be able to show a different side of the show going forward. Because there is a lot of stuff that I feel that the episodes are missing, and we got to see it, but the fan base didn't. And I am ecstatic at the idea of not missing out on those little like things, those little nuggets. Yeah. And sometimes, you know, it's just body language with a certain guest, and they say something. And we laugh, but you wouldn't be able to tell what we're laughing about, because, you know, nothing caught that moment. Well, now you're going to be able to see it, because now there's no hiding behind just the audio. Now when Danny gets up to go to the bathroom, which is at least 5 times during this show, you all guys are going to see a missing seat. Like, hey, what happened?
I'm going to make sure I edit that seat out while that happens.
Just hear a flush in the back.
I got the bladder of a fucking newborn, bro. I hate it. I fucking hate it, dude. For real. Man. But no, you know, as we start wrapping up here, man, like just today, I mean, when the episode airs, I mean, it'll be probably, you know, a week after, but today we just dropped a little intro for like, you know, our our new little podcast we got going on here on video. But talk to everyone about the idea for it, because it was your idea actually. You're the one that said, "Hey man, we should do a video as like an intro for it." You know, so I mean, where did that idea come from?
Well, a little bit of that came from you actually, but we had the episode we did with Raul.
Mm-hmm.
Raul, who you guys might remember from an earlier episode, he is a filmmaker and he is Chicago born and bred from Humboldt Park. And
shout out Raul Colon.
And he invited us to premiere for his movies. And we went out to go see 2 short films of his. And afterwards, we were invited to go to this after party. And a lot of his friends, colleagues were there. And it was at a car museum. It was a private car museum. Mm-hmm. And, I mean, you wouldn't even know it's there until you show up.
Right.
And what is it called? A Claremont?
Collections, I think it is.
Beautiful place. Our boy, Blaine, who actually shot the film that we're talking about, actually works there.
Shout out to Blaine, man. You snapped on that that video and editing, brother. You did it, man. You did your damn thing. Shout out to you, man.
He works at Claremont. He records the videos for the cars. You know, he does all that. And while we were there, it was a really fun networking type event because we met a lot of people from different aspects of the entertainment industry. And there was one guy in particular who you told me, like, bro, check out what this guy could do. And this dude had these amazing videos that he was doing for businesses, for podcasts also, for just anybody. And you're like, oh, we should do something like that. And then that idea was just kind of there, but it was always in the back of our mind. And then when we started talking about the idea of doing video, this has been since I can't even remember. This is the idea of oh wow, I'm already drinking and hiccuping.
I think it's the first time I ever heard you hiccup after a beer, bro. Shit.
So the idea for video has been around since like early in the show, but we just financially weren't available to do it at that time. Mm. And then that power money came in, baby. That power money.
Don't start with that shit, bro.
Fuck. Talk about that power money. That power money may give you a freaking deck, give you a
patio,
asshole. Some cameras, God. New computer.
Fucking turn these. That's it, man. End this episode now. My cousins are gonna hear this shit. They're gonna dog me out like a motherfucker, bro.
They got your wife that new diamond ring.
Oh, man.
Got you that penis enlargement surgery and all that shit, bro.
She likes that. Yeah, she loves that, actually. Yeah.
Well, you went from a Choa to average, right?
Yeah, bro. Yeah, exactly, bro. She calls me Average Joe.
Average. But yeah, the idea was these cameras were always gonna be a part of the show. We knew it. Eventually, it was going to. I'm still laughing about this. And when we said it, it's like, hey, dude,
fix this fucking deck, asshole.
We're talking about getting the cameras now. I said, well, if we're gonna do it, we should make a big deal out of it. It's not gonna be just a transition from one week to the next. We should have a whole, like, we're pro wrestlers and we watch a lot of wrestling. There's always those vignettes. There's always like promotional aspect behind a whole new pro wrestler coming in, or a show or something. So I wanted to make it feel like we were going to do something special. Obviously, podcasts on video are everywhere.
Right.
But I wanted to make sure that people knew that it was coming. It wasn't just like, hey, we're doing it and that's it. So something promotional like that, a video, which is now going to be the intro to our show. I wanted something like that, something fun, unique, and different, and really invest into it and get a really quality product out of it. And we reached out to Blaine. And Blaine, for those of you guys who don't know, I've known since he was a little kid through the wrestling.
Childers.
Yeah, Childers. I've known, and we discussed this in his episode. He was a previous guest on the show. His mom and me have known for each other for a long time. When I broke into the business, she was one of the first people that I met. So I've known him forever, and you've met him before from some of your acting world.
Yeah.
And so it was kind of cool having someone that has been on the show like give back to the show in such a way,
Yeah. Like, so shouts out to him, man, because we told him what we wanted. We told him our vision, and he fucking snapped on it, bro. He did.
Yeah.
He did awesome.
Like you said, we've developed a community here, right?
Yeah.
So he's part of that community that just gave back. So I think that was one of my favorite aspects of that video is the fact that it came from a previous guest,
Right.
who is a friend of the show.
Yeah.
You know, that right there in itself is fucking awesome. You know, we're putting together a studio that we've asked some of the previous guests to like donate some stuff, or even if it's not donated, just really cool stuff that I want like on the walls. I want people to walk in and see the history of what the show's been. So like walk in and be like, oh, there's something from Jimmy Blaze who donated an article of his gear from you know,
I still don't know why the fuck he sent his underwear, but okay, man. Thanks, Jimmy. I guess we'll take it. Could have fucking gave us some clean ones.
Some chonies circa 1999.
Still got the fucking stains y todo, with fucking
Caquita stains. Apparently they were Caquita squeezed out during a match, bro. Who knows?
It might have been that drop kick in the back, bro. That's what that was. From you, motherfucker.
Sorry, Jimmy. Sorry, Jimmy. But yeah, man, I mean, that's kind of where everything is going and heading. Can't wait for everyone to see the next few episodes. We already have a handful of them lined up,
Yep.
and some really fun guests, some fresh new faces that have never been around us, and I can't wait to get those out there. Huge shout out to those people that have been supporting us, as well as our sponsors that have been around since the beginning. We had a sponsor with a brewery, and they're still very good friends of ours. And hopefully down the line, we can make sure that sponsorship gets back on track. But now we have, the law offices of Chris Hoff, who's been a sponsor for pro wrestling for a long time.
Yep. Chris, thank you, man.
And he's a supporter of the Hillbilly Records podcast as well. He's a supporter of ours. He's an avid fan of the show. He watches it. He texts me all the time. He says, oh, this episode was great, this, and that.
Yeah.
So we love that he does that. Our boy, Bear Mysterio. Taco Villa. We go out there and we get a taco every so often, and this place is amazing.
And we're not just saying that because he's a sponsor, but Taco Villa in Villa Park, great, awesome Mexican food. So go there, check it out, man. Grab some burgers, grab some tacos.
Yeah.
What did you have last time? That you said it was
I had the torta, the chilaquiles. That shit was flame, dude, with milanesa de
That's
pollo.
what you had last time.
And then I had a torta the fuck was that shit? The pastor.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that thing was amazing. Like, mwah, chef's kiss.
Yes. So like I said, we're not just saying that because he's a sponsor. It's legit awesome Mexican food.
Yeah.
Great. You guys go in there, tell him the Salud Cabrones podcast sent you guys, man.
And
seriously.
it's nuts because he himself is a freaking character, dude.
Yeah.
Bear is awesome. For anybody that wants to ever tailgate for a Bears game, you've heard it on his episode he was on. We actually went to his restaurant and had this show there. It was amazing. And, he has this amazing following on social media. He actually just came out on a commercial for Fanatics.
Yeah.
Where they interviewed different fans from across the entire NFL fandom, welcoming the rookies of this year's class to their teams. And he was one of the people that was chosen to welcome some of the Bears rookies.
Yeah.
I mean, that's freaking awesome
That is,
there.
yeah.
And, he came on this, nationwide commercial. Is awesome. And all because of his fandom. And, this is a guy who supports the podcast. He's friends with tons of really great, amazing people that love football and love what he does. Obviously, when you look at him, he's a character. He's a pro wrestling fan, dude.
Isn't his restaurant BYOB?
I believe so, yeah.
I think it is BYOB,
Yeah, it
his
is.
restaurant.
Yeah, so there you go. You can get yourself some...
There's a liquor store right across the street, so bam.
And a brewery down the street.
What more can you ask for?
Yeah.
There you go.
Oh, but that's great. We're working on getting some new sponsors, some other friends of the podcast. Hopefully very, very, very soon we get everything situated. But with that being said, man...
we want to give a toast to... just give a toast to everyone that's been listening, everyone that's been tuning in with us, man. To all of the guests that we've had on, our previous guest. Thank you all so much for coming on and talking with us, opening up with us, being vulnerable with us, laughing with us, joking with us, drinking with us. Just thank you guys so much. We really appreciate it.
What are we drinking, Danny?
Since me and Javier are wrestlers, obviously, and we said, what better way? You know, we got to give a shout out with a little tequila. What better way than to bring out Terramana from the final boss? The final boss, the great one. Who is that, Javier?
That's the fucking Rock, baby.
You know, so.
Don't call me Dwayne. That's the final boss. That's the Rock. I don't recognize him as Dwayne.
So, but yes, we want to give a
childhood hero of many pro wrestlers, and many fans recognize him from back in the day. And he makes amazing tequila, Terramana, baby.
Yes, and like I said, again,
hey, Rock, you want to sponsor the show with Terramana?
Terramana, Project Rock, whatever. We'll take it,
bro. Whatever you want to do,
we'll take it. But like I said, thank you to everyone that has been here with us for this last year, for these first 50 episodes. Hopefully another 50 more and many more after that. Hopefully you guys stick along for the ride with us on this new video format. So thank you again to our previous guests. Thank you again to our listeners. Thank you again to our sponsors, the Law Office of Christopher Hoff and to Taco Villa in Villa Park. Javier, any last things you want to say before we sign off with this toast?
I do. And it's our final words that we always say.
And what is that?
Salud, Cabrones!